For this lesson, I want to introduce you guys to the Jungle Scout product database, teach you a little bit more about how to use it, and teach you also why this is so valuable for you. So to start, you see a lot of different fields and a lot of different filters, and I know that can be overwhelming, but let's zoom out and think, okay, what is this overall? Overall, what we've done is we've rebuilt Amazon's catalog in such a way that it's user-friendly for sellers to search through. So we have all of the products listed on Amazon in our database, and you can search through it with all these different filters that I'm going to explain to you. This is really valuable because it helps you come up with these different product ideas that without it would be really difficult to think of. In the next 3 videos, I'll be covering the demand, competition, and margin more in depth. But in this particular video, I want to expose you guys to some of these other filters inside of the product database that I won't be talking about as much the next few videos. These will be the marketplace, the categories, the tier, the seller type, price, keywords, as well as the filter sets. In the product database, there are many different filters and selections you can choose from to help target your results. So let's go over each of these fields, starting with the marketplace. Now, sell in whatever marketplace is most comfortable for you. I get this question a lot. What marketplace should I sell in? Is the US the best or one of these other ones? And the truth of it is there's plenty of opportunity in all these different marketplaces. So whichever one is the least intimidating or the most comfortable for you to sell in, that would be the one that I encourage you to take advantage of. US is the largest, but it might not necessarily be the easiest to start in. The point of this is just to get started. Next up is the categories section. These are all of the different categories for that respective Amazon marketplace. You can choose one or as many as you would like. Now, when I'm choosing categories, there's not necessarily one particular category that I think has the best opportunity, but instead I like to choose categories that it's more likely for these to be good private label opportunities. What I mean by that is something like media items tend to make poor private label products, since you typically have to write a book or create a video in order to sell this. In addition to that, I don't really like products that are either very complex or people have a strong brand allegiance to. Something that'd be very complex is a lot of electronics types items, and products that people typically have a strong brand allegiance to are things like shoes or maybe watches. So I tend to stay out of those categories. The rest of them, I'm happy to sell in. Moving over to the top right of the screen, we see the product tier, which gives you the option of either standard size or oversize. All this means is what tier Amazon puts the product into. An easy way to think about it is standard size is about the size of a shoebox. So if it's on the standard tier, that means it could fit inside of a shoebox. Oversized tier is going to be bigger than that. And all that means is that the storage fees are going to be a little bit different, as well as the limits that a new seller can sell for those types of products. For seller type, you might not be familiar with these acronyms, but FBA stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. FBM means Fulfillment by Merchant, which means that the person who sells it is also the person who stores the goods, as well as picks, packs, and ships the goods. And lastly, Amazon means that Amazon's selling it directly 1P. Once we drop down to the filter section, the first one that you see is minimum and max price. And this is a question that we often get, but the price that we register for the products in our database is whatever is currently being shown in the Amazon buy box. So there might be multiple sellers on an Amazon listing, but this is the price of whoever currently holds the buy box. Me personally, I like to sell items that are $15 or more. What I found from trying to sell products that are say $8 or $10 is it's often hard to make any good margins off these inexpensive products. If you're only making $1 or $2 per sale, you have to make a lot of sales for it to add up to any meaningful amount of money. I like the $15 to $30 range because this is usually a good price point for kind of impulse buying. In addition to that, you can probably get these types of products manufactured for relatively inexpensive, so your initial investments are lower. Now there are of course a handful of other filters here, and I'll be covering those more in depth throughout the rest of the videos. Let's jump down into the keyword section, and I'll teach you guys a little bit more about what it means to include or exclude certain keywords. This is another way to filter through all these products that we have in our product database. And you don't necessarily need to use these. If you don't have any product ideas, no worries about that. However, oftentimes what happens is you'll filter the products based off these different data points, and then you'll find something that you either want to include or exclude. For example, if I was searching for a certain type of product and I ultimately found that a lot of them were licensed, for example, say from Disney, I could use Disney as an excluded keyword there to remove all those results from the search results. One other important area that I want to point out to you is our predetermined filter sets, which you can load or save your own filter sets by clicking the Load Filter Set button in the top right. In here, you'll see that we've built some presets that show you products that have high demand with low competition, high demand, bad marketing, etc., etc. This is a great spot to start. However, what most sellers find is they like to customize their own so that they're not looking at the same products as other sellers using the tool. Big picture here, the thing to keep in mind is that you're using these filters to sort through all of the products on Amazon. By doing this, we can filter what products are good opportunities based off of the data or the keywords or the category, instead of us personally having to think of all these different product ideas. Stay tuned to the next video and we'll go more in depth about the demand for your product. See you there. For this lesson, let's talk about demand. Now, this is a very important